Hello, my name is Elio Reyes. My target audience is older people from 65 years and older. Uh, this game is a side-scroller puzzle game. It's mainly a puzzle game because my target audience mainly plays puzzle games. And so the issues I had with this audience was that they're not too familiar with video games as much as they are with board games. So I wanted to make this as inviting as possible and then as simple as possible, because mainly is usually just getting through the menus alone that could turn the user off. Uh, and so one of the issues is that they can't see very well. And so another issue that I also had with them was that apart from not knowing many video games in general, even in the in-game section they can I wanted to simplify it, their 3D camera movement, so I chose a side scroller. So I wanted to take some of the options away and make it pretty simple for them to handle the controls for the game. I don't want them to play around with the camera and struggle with it so that they just quit on me. And so how I fixed this was, as I said, for the camera, for the 3D camera games and whatnot, I made it a 2D side scroller so that the camera just stays focused on the player. To fix the eyesight problem, I made the UI as large as I can so that they can see very clearly what they're selecting, and is even hinted by the little star on the side telling me which option I am selecting. Another thing was the font. I made it as clear as I could so that they can see what they're pressing on. And so if I show you the in-game UI, so I didn't want to clutter the screen with UI, so I didn't want to confuse my user since I don't play as many video games, at least they're not known for playing too many video games. I only had the health bar, and they can tell by the heart, immediately recognize that that's your health, and you can take damage by the flying objects. And then this is my gravity gun, which I can shoot, and as soon as I shoot my gravity gun, you'll see a hand which is telling me that I can move this object. And the more I move it, the more energy I'm using. So that's another thing that I have to keep in mind. And so here's just a small puzzle. You would use your gravity gun to pull this platform towards you. And there's a boulder in the way, so what would you do? You would use your gravity gun. This would be like pretty much a tutorial level just to get used to the controls. And so that seemed to work. I wanted just the health bar and just the energy bar. I wanted to make this so that they don't have to worry about anything else other than the game itself. So they can pause the game in case they forget the controls. They will just go to controls on their pause menu. You can always return. So here are pretty much the controls. Wanted to make it as big and as large as possible so that they can read it. If I hit resume, it works. Controls works. Options. So here they can change the music volumes and the sound effect volumes. Just return. And you can also quit out of the game. And that works. And then in here, my level select, again, is clear and as big as possible. And this is how I initially proposed my levels to be, and it actually ended up working. You can't select level 2 and level 3 because they're not made. I only have one level. And so if I click from level 1, it throws me to level 1. I'm just going to quit and go back to my main menu. And so if I go here, my return works too. And so if I go to settings, music, it's the same options as in the pause menu. So they can all have it just at their disposal at any time. I can just quit the game out of my main menu. And so those were the things that went right. What went wrong was mainly my game mechanic went wrong. The game is not supposed to work this way, and he's just supposed to grab objects around to use them as his disposal, so he can just create his own path. And I thought that would be a good idea, because that would make their lives a lot easier, not having to deal with much platforming, since you can create your own way of making your way around the level. Another thing that went wrong is I wanted to make my mouse a lot bigger so that they could see the mouse interface. So you can only see the hand right there, and it's pretty small. We'd like to make that a little bigger. But I think that's it for the things that went wrong in my proposal. What would I do if I were to do this project all over again? The main thing I wanted to change was make my level gameplay a little easier. I would have probably changed my side-scroller puzzle game. Probably made it a top-down puzzle game. I could probably do the same mechanics as I have in here, but with a top-down, so that they don't have to deal with the jumping, because like I said, they don't have some of them might not have too much really good precision when it comes to pressing buttons, and so it would be a lot easier if I could just use the mouse for everything, instead of making the character actually jump objects, because they would just keep falling down and create all sorts of problems. So that's probably the only thing I would change in case of a better project. And so yeah, this is pretty much my game.